Dawn in the palace cut sharp as a blade of wind. An iron command echoed, shattering the still air. At the prison gate, only breaths filled the void. Every step moved fast, though wrapped in silence. News of danger spread quicker than daylight. Shadows fell across the ministers' faces at once. The prince's body burned with unknown fever. His pulse raced faint and weak beneath the wrist. Eyes that watched him trembled with unease. Even at the throne, life weighed heavily on all. The Queen Dowager's hands shook without rest. Truth hid heavy in a single dish on the table. Suspicion turned swiftly into a chase for clues. They searched scents and bitter tastes for signs. Why had fine medicine turned into deadly poison? A faint smell of droppings. A rancid, bitter trace. A rare herb mixed with ginseng becomes a toxin. At that truth, breath grew thinner in the chamber. Time flew like arrows, forcing all into haste. Doctors sought antidotes. Cooks prepared meals. They agreed high nutrition food must be given. Rice cakes and hand-pulled dough were red-dyed. The broth was steeped with ox bones and herbs. A single bowl now stood as medicine itself. All gazes fixed upon the fading young prince. Each broken breath pressed the room to silence. Each steady sign of life loosened their shoulders. Slowly, yet surely, change came like a miracle. One choice, one meal, could rewrite a destiny. The room bore witness to history in silence. The air inside pressed heavy, choking each breath. Fear and suspicion tangled in the dowager's eyes. The ministers exchanged wary and piercing looks. Each glance searched for the hidden hand of poison. Medicine heals at times, yet turns to poison too. That simple truth bound them tighter in dread. One hand searched records, the other memories. The doctor pursued answers by taste and scent. The dropping smell, the bitter taste unveiled it. It was oryongji, a herb once prized and rare. But mixed with ginseng, it reversed into poison. A fatal blend strong enough to steal a life. The dowager's face froze with shock and terror. The prince's faint breath chilled the room to stone. Orders flew, prepare antidotes without delay. But antidotes alone would never be enough. The prince's strength had already collapsed. His body trembled in hunger and low sugar. What he needed now was not medicine but food. The royal cook resolved after deep reflection. Rice cakes shaped small hand-torn wheat dough. Broth brewed with oxbone, antler and herbs. A meal marked as fattening in peaceful times. Now became the sole dish to rescue a life. At first, harsh protest rose from every corner. Who dared risk the king's heir with such a bowl? But the cook's reasoning was clear and firm. High glycemic food would restore strength fast. The broth restored the blood and anchored life. The dowager's eyes wavered. Then she yielded. The steaming dish was placed by the prince's side. When the bowl was placed, the room fell still. The hot broth touched the prince's lips with care. At first so faint, yet soon his breath began to shift. The fragile pulse slowly gathered its lost strength. A glimmer of hope spread across watching eyes. The dowager's trembling fingers found calm again. "Look, his pulse is returning to life," one said. The doctor's voice shook, but carried firm clarity. The ministers turned, startled, toward each other. In despair, a miracle-like change had arrived. Color returned faintly to the young prince's face. As breath grew steady, all released a long sigh. Yet relief was still far too early to be claimed. His body remained barren, like an empty field. That single bowl had merely tethered his life. He needed more care, more food, and strength. Doctor and cook bent heads together once more. The struggle to keep him alive had just begun. Then the dowager's gaze flashed with resolve. Now the truth shall be revealed and punished. The poison's root was named, yet schemes lingered. Who had plotted and why to place the toxin? In the silence of the palace, shadows thickened. Those present tightened once more in unease. Outside, the dawn wind still howled through stone. Cold air clashed with the warmth inside the room. The palace wall stood firm, but hearts trembled. When one life falters, history itself quivers. All who stood there felt this truth deep within. This day would remain etched as a tale to tell. The chamber, though calmer, carried hidden storms. Every glance exchanged held doubt and suspicion. The prince's life was saved, yet danger remained. A question lingered. Who placed death in his bowl? The ministers whispered, but no one dared speak. To accuse without proof was to gamble with fate. The dowager sat rigid, her voice low but sharp. This is no mistake someone schemed in secret. Her words cut through the chamber like a blade. Eyes turned toward servants, then back to nobles. Each figure seemed cloaked in shadows of guilt. No one escaped the weight of unspoken blame. The doctor pressed forward with cautious resolve. The cause lies clear in the mix of the herbs, but hands that place them remain unknown still. Until the truth is revealed, none may be trusted. His warning froze the air with heavier silence. Fear deepened, but so did the thirst for justice. In a far corner, the cook bowed low in shame. His voice shook, yet his words held conviction. I swear no treachery dwelled in my hands. I served only what was ordered, nothing more. If guilt is mine, then take this life instead. But let no shadow stain the prince's recovery. The dowager's gaze softened for but a breath. Yet her command was firm as stone, unyielding. Then prove loyalty, with action and with truth. Expose the hand that dared poison this blood. Until then, no soul in this palace is free. The chamber bowed, shackled by her decree. Whispers spread beyond the chambered walls. Through corridors and courtyards, rumors grew. Servants carried fragments weaving fearful tales. Every corner of the palace breathed suspicion. A sickness of doubt clung heavier than smoke. Even loyal hearts feared shadows at their side. The ministers convened in strained silence. Each word weighed like stone upon their lips. One wrong sentence could seal a fatal doom. Power balanced on edges sharper than blades. Friendships faltered, alliances turned brittle. All eyes searched for weakness in the others. The dowager paced with measured, heavy steps. Her resolve shone colder than polished steel. She would unmask the hand that sought the throne. Poison aimed at blood is treason against heaven. Whoever strikes the air strikes at the crown. Her voice rang out, echoing with grim finality. The doctor returned, scrolls clasped to his chest. I will examine each herb, each measure given. The truth may hide within these simple powders. Yet truth, once found, may wound deeper than poison. Prepare yourselves for knowledge cuts sharp. His vow bound all to the coming revelation. At the prince's side, quiet breaths deepened. The boy, though frail, stirred with fragile life. Each rise of his chest was hope, reborn anew. Yet beside relief, unease only thickened further. For as long as the culprit remained concealed, no victory could shield the throne from peril. Night slowly yielded to the pale light of dawn. The prince slept, his breath steady, his face calm. Around him, weary figures stood in quiet vigil. What began as despair had turned into fragile hope. Yet the palace itself still throbbed with unease. Truth remained hidden, and danger lingered still. The dowager gazed long into the fading night. Her heart bore both relief and sharpened resolve. This is not the end. Justice will be demanded. The crown shall not bend to hidden daggers. Her vow carried weight through every corridor. None could mistake the warning in her eyes. The cook bowed, humbled yet steadfast in will. I will serve not only food, but my loyalty. Let every dish I prepare stand as my proof. No shadow shall darken the air through me. His words planted seeds of faith. amidst doubt. In silence, the ministers accepted the pledge. The doctor closed his scrolls with weary hands. The boy is safe for now, but truth awaits. If justice fails, poison will strike once again. Guard both his body and the heart of the realm. For healing one life is to heal the kingdom. The chamber breathed a heavy, solemn accord. Dawn broke fully, spilling gold across stone. The palace stood firm, yet trembled within. Life had returned, but peace was far from won. This day would be remembered through the ages, for in a single bowl history had been stirred, and from one breath the crown endured anew.